Leave empty-handed. I knew something was wrong the moment I opened the front door. Claire never left the dining room light on. She always complained about wasting electricity. Yet, tonight the whole room was bright. I entered. "Claire, come in, then." Her voice was cold. I walked toward the dining room and stopped. Claire sat at the table. Ryan Blake sat beside her. My stomach tightened. "Ryan." He smiled. "Hey, Ethan." I looked at Ryan. "Why is he here?" "We need to talk." "Then why is he sitting beside you?" Claire pushed a folder across the table. "Sit down." I stood. "What is that?" "Divorce papers." For several seconds, I thought I had heard her wrong. "You're joking." "No." I laughed once because my mind refused to accept it. "Claire, we argued this morning." "We have argued before. Couples argue. That doesn't mean you prepare divorce papers before dinner." "I've made my decision." I looked at Ryan. "Did he help you make it?" Ryan leaned back. "Claire doesn't need my help deciding who she wants to be with." My hands tightened. "Who she want to be with?" Claire finally looked directly at me. "Yes, Ryan. I love him." The room shrank. "You love him?" "I've been unhappy for a long time." 8 years. "I know. 8 years, Claire. I know how long we've been married." "Then how can you say that like it's nothing?" She sighed. "Because I wasted too much time pretending this marriage was enough." I stared at her. "Pretending?" "Yes." "What did I pretend about?" "You were comfortable with this life." "I wasn't. I worked 12-hour days to build this life." "And what did it get you?" "A home, a wife, a future." Claire gave a bitter smile. "A small house and a husband who is always tired." Ryan said, "Claire deserves more." I turned toward him. "Stay out of this." He raised his hands. "I'm just telling the truth." I looked back at Claire. "Is this really about money?" "No." "Then what is it?" "I want a different life. With him. With someone who understands what I want." I stared at the papers. "What happens to everything we built?" Claire shrugged. "What happens to the house?" "My family helped us get this house." "Your family helped with the down payment. I paid the mortgage." "You're acting like you own everything." "I never said that. I'm asking what we're going to do with it." "We." She laughed. "There is no we anymore." That sentence hurt more than the divorce papers. I sat down. "Claire, look at me." She did. "Do you really want this?" "Yes." "Are you sure?" "Yes." Ryan reached for her hand. That was when something inside me finally went quiet. I picked up the pen. Claire blinked. "You're signing?" "You wanted a divorce." "I thought you'd fight." "I did enough fighting." Ryan smiled. That was easier than expected. I ignored him. Claire watched me sign each page. Then she said, "There's one more thing." I looked up. "What?" "You leave with nothing." I frowned. "What?" "Nothing from this house." "You're serious?" "Everything stays." "My clothes?" "Take what you're wearing." "My personal things?" "You can take your documents and phone. Nothing else." I stared at her. "You're throwing me out of my own home." "Don't make this dramatic." I almost laughed. I'm standing in a house I paid for, listening to my wife tell me I can't take my belongings. How should I react? Claire crossed her arms. "This house belongs to my family as much as it belongs to you." Ryan looked around. "Claire deserves to keep it." I looked at him. "You're planning to move in?" He smiled. "Eventually." I stood slowly. "You two planned everything." Claire didn't answer. I turned toward the hallway. "Wait." I stopped. "Don't take anything," Claire said. "I want this house exactly as it is." I looked around. Photographs. The furniture. The dining table where we once celebrated. Every object represented years of my work. "You really want everything?" "Yes." I nodded. "Fine." Claire looked surprised. "That's it." I opened the door. "You told me to leave empty-handed." Ryan laughed softly. I faced him. "Enjoy the house." Then I looked at Claire one last time. "I hope you enjoy everything you asked me to leave behind." I left. As the door closed, I felt something unexpected. Not anger. Clarity. Claire had just taken everything she thought I needed. She had no idea what I was about to take back. The man with nothing. I spent my first night as a divorced man on Daniel's couch. I still wore the same clothes I had left home in. Daniel placed a blanket beside me. You should sleep? I don't think I can. You need to. I lost my wife tonight. You lost someone who stopped being your wife long before tonight. I looked at him. Don't make excuses for me, Daniel. I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. I pulled the divorce papers from my pocket. I signed them. You shouldn't have. She wanted out. That doesn't mean you had to surrender everything. I was tired. Daniel sat across from me. Then let me ask you something. Did you even read those papers? Not carefully. Why? Because I couldn't think. He stared at me for a moment. What did she say? She told me to leave empty-handed. And you did? Yes. Daniel shook his head. Ethan, you spent 8 years building that house. I thought I was building our future. You were. I looked down. That's the part one can't understand. What? I remember every payment, every repair. Every night I came home exhausted because I wanted Claire to have a better life. Daniel stayed silent. I sold my old car to pay for the kitchen renovation. I remember I used almost all my savings when her father's company had that debt. I remember that too. She said she needed help starting her design business. I gave her money. And did she ever pay you back? No. Daniel leaned forward. Then why did you give her so much? Because I loved her. My voice cracked. That was my mistake. No, loving someone wasn't your mistake. Then what was? Trusting someone who stopped protecting your heart. I closed my eyes. Images kept returning. Claire laughing in the kitchen. Claire holding my hand during our first winter together. Claire promising, we'll grow old here. Then, tonight, Ryan sitting beside her. I opened my eyes. Maybe I was stupid. Daniel shook his head. You were loyal. Loyal people still lose. Sometimes. He reached for his phone. I called someone. Who? A lawyer. I don't need a lawyer. Yes, you do. Daniel, I have nothing. That's exactly why you need one. The next morning, we met Sarah Miller at her office. She studied me before looking at the folder Daniel had placed on her desk. You're Ethan Cole? Yes. I'm Sarah Miller. Daniel said you could help. I can try. She opened the divorce papers. How quickly did you sign these? Last night. Without legal advice? Yes. Sarah looked up. Did Claire pressure you? I wouldn't call it pressure. What would you call it? I was hurt. She nodded. That can be worse. She continued reading. Then she stopped. Did you really leave everything behind? Yes, everything. My clothes, my furniture. My savings account was nearly empty. I left the house. Sarah tapped the papers. Interesting. What? This agreement says you voluntarily surrendered your claim to the household property. Yes. But it doesn't say you surrendered your ownership interest in the property itself. I stared at her. I don't understand. Sarah turned another page. Who originally purchased the house? I did. Whose name was on the original purchase documents? Mine. And when was Claire added? 2 years later. Sarah smiled slightly. Then Claire may have made a serious mistake. Daniel leaned forward. What kind of mistake? She treated the divorce agreement as if it erased the entire property history. I felt my chest tighten. So she can't simply keep the house? Not necessarily. I looked at the papers again. She told me it was hers. People often confuse confidence with ownership. I almost smiled. What do you need from me? Every document you have. I left them at the house. Sarah closed the folder. Then we start somewhere else. Where? With your bank records, old contracts, renovation receipts, and anything proving what you paid. Daniel looked at me. Do you have those? I thought about it. Yes. Where? I backed everything up. Sarah nodded. Good. For the first time since leaving Claire, I felt something other than pain. I felt a small spark of hope. Sarah pointed at the folder. Ethan, you may have walked out of that house with nothing. She paused. But that doesn't mean you left everything behind. I looked at Daniel, then Sarah. For the first time, I wondered if Claire had won anything at all. Maybe my empty hands were not empty after all. The house was never hers. I sat across from Sarah as she spread documents across her desk. Start with the oldest one, she said. I handed her a folder. This is the original purchase agreement. She read it twice. Ethan, this is important. How important? It shows your company purchased the property before Claire's family contributed anything. I stared at the page. So the house was mine? Legally, the answer is more complicated. That sounds like lawyer language. It is. I almost smiled. Sarah pointed to another document. When did Claire's name appear? 2 years after we bought it. Why? Claire wanted her family involved in the renovation. Did they contribute money? Some. How much? Not enough to match what I paid. She nodded. Then we need every receipt. I kept most of them. Good. What about these? She held up several invoices. I frowned. I remember those. Whose name is on them? Claire's. Why? Claire asked me to put some renovation expenses under her name. She said it would help with her family's business records. Sarah looked at me carefully. Did you understand what she was doing? No. Did you sign anything giving her ownership? No. Sarah leaned back. Then she may have believed change in the invoices changed the property rights. I felt a strange chill. Claire knew I trusted her. Sarah said nothing. I looked down at the papers. She knew exactly what she was asking me to sign. Maybe, Sarah said, but we should work with facts, not assumptions. She opened another folder. Now we have something more interesting. What? This. I took the document. What is it? A private agreement concerning the property. I read the first paragraph. My stomach dropped. Claire signed this? Yes. When? 3 weeks before your divorce. I looked at Sarah. With Ryan, his name is included. I read the agreement again. They had planned to use the house as security for a business arrangement. You're telling me they planned this before she even divorced me? I'm telling you the document was signed before the divorce. I clenched my fists. They were going to use my house. Your company's property. According to these records, I stood and walked toward the window. For a moment, I imagined exposing everything immediately. I could ruin their plans. I could embarrass Claire. I could make Ryan regret every word he had said. Sarah's voice stopped me. Ethan. What? Don't make a decision while you're angry. I have every reason to be angry. I know. They humiliated me. I know. They told me to leave with nothing. I know. I turned around. So why shouldn't I fight back? Fight for your rights, she said, not for revenge. Her words stayed with me. That evening, I opened my phone. Claire had posted another picture. She was standing in our living room, beside Ryan. The caption said, "Finally living the life I deserve." I stared at the photograph. Then another appeared. Ryan stood beside the fireplace, holding a glass of wine. I laughed bitterly. They really want me to see this. A message appeared. Ryan, you doing okay, loser? I stared at the screen. Another message followed. Hope you enjoy your new life with nothing. I typed a response, then deleted it. I typed another, then deleted that too. Finally, I wrote one sentence. Enjoy the house while you still have it. I sent it. Ryan replied almost immediately. Huh, is that supposed to scare me? Then he sent another laughing emoji. I put my phone down. Sarah called a few minutes later. I saw the message. You're monitoring me now? Daniel told me what happened. I didn't threaten him. No, but you gave him something to worry about. I meant every word. I believe you. So what's the problem? The problem is that people become careless when they think they're safe. I remained silent. Sarah continued. Let Claire and Ryan believe they've won. They're going to make mistakes. Exactly. And when they do, we use the evidence. I looked at the folder beside me. For the first time, the house no longer felt like something I had lost. It felt like something I had temporarily walked away from. I whispered, "They think I have nothing." Sarah answered quietly, "Let them think that." I looked at the message from Ryan again. His laughter didn't bother me anymore. He had no idea what was coming. Neither did Claire. And for once, I wasn't going to warn them. I had spent years protecting Claire from consequences. Now I understood that protecting her had only protected her from learning the truth. Sarah closed the folder. "Tomorrow we gather everything." I nodded. "Then tomorrow," I said, "I stop being the man who walks away." She smiled. "That is a much better beginning." For once, I believed every word. I stopped begging. I stopped checking Claire's social media. That was the first change. The second was answering Marcus's call. "Ethan, are you free tomorrow?" "Depends." "Why?" "I have a job for you." "I'm not looking for a job." I didn't say job. I said opportunity. I was silent. Marcus laughed. "You still sound like the same stubborn man I remember. I haven't worked in years." "You worked for yourself before you got married." "I had a company." "You built a company." "I lost it." "No, you walked away from it." His words hit harder than I expected. "Why are you calling me now?" "Because I need someone who understands operations." I'm rusty, then get sharp again. The next morning, I walked into Marcus's office. He pointed at a chair. "Sit." I sat. He pushed a file toward me. "Read that." I opened it. "What am I looking at?" "8th failing division." "You wanted to fix this?" "I want to know if you still can." I looked at him. "And if I can't?" "Then you buy me lunch." I smiled for the first time in days. "You're still cheap. And you're still alive. So stop acting like your life ended." I spent the next 12 hours working. Then 14. Then 16. Every night. I returned to Daniel's apartment exhausted. Daniel asked, "How's work?" "Hard." "Good. Good." "You needed something difficult." "I needed my life back." He smiled. "You're getting it." Weeks passed. My bank account slowly recovered. My confidence returned even faster. One evening, Daniel looked over my shoulder. "That's your monthly income?" "Yes." "Ethan, that's more than you made before." "I know." He grinned. "Claire's going to regret this." I closed the laptop. "I'm not doing this for Claire." "Good." "I mean it." "I know." Meanwhile, Claire's perfect life began cracking. I didn't need to watch it myself. Lisa's messages made the situation obvious. One afternoon, Claire called. "Lisa, I don't understand him." "Ryan." "Yes. He spent $20,000 this week." "On what?" "A car, watches, and some business investment. Maybe he's celebrating." "He used my account." "You should talk to him." "I did." "What happened?" "He got angry." Lisa sighed. "You need to be patient." I left Ethan for a better life. I can't admit I made a mistake already." "You don't have to." "I didn't make a mistake." "Then why are you upset?" Claire had no answer. That evening, my phone rang. "Claire." I stared at the screen before answering. "What?" "Are you coming back for your things?" "No." "You left everything." "I know." "You don't want your clothes?" "No." "Your furniture?" "No." "Your photographs?" I paused. "Keep them." "Ethan, why are you acting like this?" "Like what?" "Like none of it matters." I looked around the apartment. It mattered once. And now I want peace. She became quiet. "Are you seeing someone?" "No." "Then why won't you come back?" "Because you asked me to leave." I was angry. "You signed the papers." "I know." "So did I." "Ethan." "What?" "I thought you'd fight." "I did enough fighting." She lowered her voice. "You really don't want anything?" "No." "Not even the house?" I smiled faintly. "Keep everything." "You're serious?" "Yes." The call ended. I sat quietly. For months, I had believed my happiness was trapped inside that house. Now I understood something. I didn't miss the furniture. I didn't miss the walls. I missed the man I had been before I started begging someone to love me. Marcus called the next morning. Ready for another long day? I stood up. Ready. Good. I grabbed my jacket. This time, I wasn't rebuilding my life to win Claire back. I was rebuilding it because I had finally remembered who I was. And I wasn't stopping. The secret behind the walls. Sarah placed an old renovation file in front of me. Do you remember this? I opened it. The basement? Not exactly. She pointed at a contractor's note. Read the highlighted section. I did. My eyes widened. This can't be right. It is. What did I build? A structural reinforcement system beneath the property. I stared at her. I remember approving the work, but I didn't know it increased the property value this much. You invested heavily. How much? Enough to change the entire valuation. I leaned back. Claire never knew. That may become important. Sarah opened another file. These are your company records. I scanned the pages. What am I looking at? Debts connected to Claire's family. I frowned. Those debts were theirs. Yes. Then why are they here? Because some of them were secured against assets connected to the property. My stomach tightened. So Claire's family used the house as security? Without fully understanding your ownership position, I stood, and Claire signed another agreement with Ryan. Yes. I looked toward the window. They thought they owned everything. Sarah nodded. They were confident. That confidence is going to hurt them. Sarah closed the folder. Don't celebrate yet. I'm not. Good, because we need to stay careful. Meanwhile, Ryan had begun planning renovations. I heard about it through Marcus, who had business contacts everywhere. Ryan wants to tear out the kitchen, Marcus told me. Why? He thinks the house is his future. I shook my head. He doesn't even know what he's standing on. Marcus smiled. Apparently he's spending heavily. Let him. That evening, Ryan's father arrived. Victor Blake called his son. Ryan, explain something to me. What? Why are you spending money renovating a property you don't own? Ryan laughed. I do own it. Have you checked? Claire and I are living there. That wasn't my question. Ryan became quiet. Victor continued. Show me the ownership documents. I'll find them. Find them before you spend another dollar. Ryan ended the call. Within hours, Victor began investigating. I didn't know about the conversation until Sarah called. Victor Blake is looking into the property. Ryan's father? Yes. That could get interesting. Especially because Victor is apparently very careful with money. Then he'll discover the truth. He already has. I went silent. What did he find? Your original purchase documents. I smiled. Good. A few days later, Claire saw my name in a business article. She called Lisa immediately. Did you see this? Yes. Ethan? Yes. He's back in business. Apparently. He's doing better than before. Lisa paused. You should be happy for him. I am. You don't sound happy. Claire stared at the article. He looks different. How? Confident. Lisa sighed. Claire, I didn't leave him to become successful. You left because you wanted a different life. I know. Then stop watching him. I can't. Claire closed the article. She tried to convince herself that I would eventually return. I knew she was waiting, but I wasn't coming. Sarah asked me, do you want me to send the documents now? No. Why? Because they're not ready. They're ready enough. That's not the same thing. She studied me. What are you waiting for? I looked at the files. I want them to understand what they lost. That sounds like revenge. Maybe. Ethan. I sighed. I won't hurt anyone. Then what will you do? I'll let the truth arrive. Sarah smiled slightly. That's usually more powerful. I closed the folder. Claire thought she had taken my future. Ryan thought he had inherited my home. Victor thought his son had made a smart investment. None of them understood the truth. The house wasn't their victory. It was the evidence. And I was finally ready to let them discover that for themselves. The empty house. I was sitting in Sarah's office when she placed the final documents in front of me. "Read this carefully," she said. I scanned the pages. "So it's official? Your ownership claim is confirmed." I looked up. What does that mean for Claire? It means she can't simply keep the property. I exhaled slowly. After everything she said? Especially after everything she said. I leaned back. "I want control of the house." "You can have it." "Then I want to do this properly." Sarah nodded. "No threats. No confrontation. Everything documented." "I understand." She closed the folder. "Ethan, are you sure?" "About what?" "Taking the house back." I thought about Claire telling me to leave with nothing. Yes. 2 days later, I stood outside the house with Sarah and a legal representative. Claire opened the door. Her face changed when she saw me. "What are you doing here?" "I'm here for my property." "You can't be serious." "I am." She looked at Sarah. "Tell him he has no right to do this." Sarah calmly answered, "The documents say otherwise." Claire turned toward me. "You planned this." "No, you've been waiting for this." "I've been waiting for the truth." Ryan came down the stairs. "What's happening?" I looked at him. "The house is being returned to me." He laughed. "You're bluffing." "I'm not." Claire stepped closer. "You said you didn't want it." "I said I didn't want anything that night." "And now I know the difference between giving something away and being told I have nothing." Ryan shook his head. "This is ridiculous." I looked at him. "You should read the property records before spending money on someone else's house." His smile disappeared. Claire whispered, "Ryan, don't." I entered the house. For a moment, everything looked exactly as I remembered. The furniture, the paintings, the dining table, the memories. Claire followed me. "What are you going to do?" "I'm taking what belongs to me." "You already said you didn't want anything." "I changed my mind." "You're cruel." I turned around. "Cruel?" "Yes. You know how much I sacrificed for this home." I stared at her. "You told me to leave empty-handed." I was angry. "You meant it." "I didn't know you'd actually leave." "That was your choice." She shook her head. "Ethan, please. Let me keep the house." "No." "Why?" "Because it's mine. I gave 8 years of my life to this marriage." "So did I. I built a life here." "So did I." "You're punishing me." "No. I'm taking back what I paid for." Sarah interrupted. "Claire, please don't make this harder." Claire pointed toward the living room. "You're taking all of this?" "Only what I legally own." I began with the furniture I had purchased, then the artwork, then the equipment I had personally paid for. Claire watched each piece leave. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you told me to leave everything." "I didn't mean it like this." "You should have thought about that before saying it." Ryan stepped forward. "You can't remove the renovations. Some improvements can legally be removed." He frowned. "Like what?" "The equipment behind the walls." His face went pale. "What equipment?" I looked at Sarah. She answered, "The systems Ethan financed." Ryan stared at me. "You hid this." "I didn't hide anything." "You knew the house was worth more." "Yes." "Why didn't you tell Claire?" I looked at Claire. "Because she never asked." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "You're enjoying this." I shook my head. "No." "Then why do you look so calm?" "Because I'm finally done fighting." The rooms became emptier. One chair disappeared. Then another. The paintings came down. The expensive equipment was removed. Even the dining table where Claire and I once celebrated our anniversary left through the front door. Claire followed me from room to room. "Ethan." I stopped. "What?" "Please leave me something." I looked around the nearly empty room. "You told me you wanted the house exactly as it was." "I was wrong." "I know." "I'm sorry." I swallowed. "I believe you." "Then forgive me." "I can forgive you without giving you my life again." She cried quietly. I looked at the empty walls. "This is what you wanted." "No. You wanted everything without me." "I wanted you too. Not when it mattered." She lowered her head. I picked up my last box. Claire whispered, "Is this your revenge?" I looked at her. "No." "Then what is it?" I answered quietly. "I simply stopped giving you mine." I walked toward the door. Behind me, Claire said my name one last time. I didn't turn around. I had already spent too many years looking back. Outside, I placed the box in my car and looked back through the doorway. Daniel called. "Did you do it?" "Yes." "How do you feel?" I looked at the empty rooms. Strangely peaceful. "Are you sure?" "For the first time, I'm sure." I started the engine. The house was empty, but my life wasn't. I drove away without looking back. I had finally learned what freedom felt like. She finally saw what she had lost. I moved into my new house on a rainy Saturday morning. Daniel looked around the empty living room. "You did it." "I did." "No, Claire." "No, Claire." He smiled. "You finally sound happy." "I think I am." One afternoon, I was reviewing a contract when my assistant knocked. "Ethan, someone is here to see you." "Who?" "Noah Cole." I looked up. "Claire's brother?" "Yes." "Send him in." Noah entered slowly. "Ethan." "Sit down." He sat across from me. "I owe you an apology." "For what?" "For believing Claire." I remained quiet. "I thought you abandoned her," he continued. "She told me you stopped caring, that you left her with nothing. I didn't tell you her version was false. I know that now." He looked around my office. "You really rebuilt everything." "I had to." "No, you wanted to." I nodded. Noah lowered his voice. "Claire regrets it." I looked at him. "That's not my problem." "I know. She made her choice." "I know, but she's not doing well." I leaned back. "What do you want me to do?" "Nothing." "Then why tell me?" "Because you deserve to know that she finally understands. Understanding doesn't change the past." "No." "What happened to Ryan?" "His business collapsed." "I heard." He left. I sighed. "And Claire?" "She barely recognizes herself anymore." I thought about the house I had left behind and the office I had rebuilt from nothing. Both taught me the lesson. Losing something did not mean losing myself. I had spent too long measuring my life by what Claire wanted. Now, each decision belonged to me. That freedom was, but stronger than anger. Noah stood. "She said something yesterday." "What?" "She said she lost the only person who ever loved her without asking what she could give back." I looked down. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything." He walked toward the door. Then he stopped. "For what it's worth, I was wrong about you." I smiled faintly. "Thank you." After Noah left, I sat alone. I had measured my worth by Claire's happiness. If she smiled, I felt successful. If she was unhappy, I blamed myself. I had mistaken love for responsibility. Now I understood the difference. That evening, Claire came to my office. I almost asked security to stop her. Instead, I said, "Let her in." She entered quietly. "You look happy." "I am." "I heard about your new house." "It's mine." She smiled sadly. "You always wanted a place like this." "I did." "I thought I was supposed to be there." I didn't answer. She looked around. "You became everything I wanted you to become." I shook my head. "No, I became everything I stopped being." She lowered her eyes. "I was proud of you once." "I remember." "Then I forgot." "I remember that too." She took a breath. "Noah told me you know everything." "I know enough." "Do you hate me?" "No." "Why?" "Because hatred still ties me to you." She looked at me. "I wish I could go back." "I can't." "I know." We stood in silence. Then she asked the question I had secretly expected for months. "If I had never left, would you still love me?" I looked at her for a long time. The answer wasn't simple. "I loved who you used to be." Her eyes filled with tears. "And now I can't love the person you chose to become." She nodded slowly. "I deserve that. I don't want you to suffer." "Then what do you want?" "I want you to learn to live without needing someone else to complete you." She wiped her tears. "Did you ever forgive me?" Yes. Then why does this feel like goodbye? Because forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. She looked at the door. I really lost you. I answered quietly. You lost a version of me who would have stayed, no matter what. She closed her eyes. I miss him. So do I? She left. I watched the door close. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel powerful. I simply felt free. For months, I had believed revenge would heal me. It didn't. Building my own life did. Walking away did. Learning to love myself did. Claire's regret was no longer my reward. It was simply proof that some choices cannot be undone. I turned back to my desk and opened my next project. My future was waiting. This time, I was going to live it for me. She finally saw what she had lost. I moved into my new house on a rainy Saturday morning. Daniel looked around the empty living room. You did it. I did. No, Claire. No, Claire. He smiled. You finally sound happy. I think I am. One afternoon, I was reviewing a contract when my assistant knocked. Ethan, someone is here to see you. Who? Noah Cole. I looked up. Claire's brother? Yes. Send him in. Noah entered slowly. Ethan, sit down. He sat across from me. I owe you an apology. For what? For believing Claire. I remained quiet. I thought you abandoned her, he continued. She told me you stopped caring, that you left her with nothing. I didn't tell you her version was false. I know that now. He looked around my office. You really rebuilt everything. I had to. No, you wanted to. I nodded. Noah lowered his voice. Claire regrets it. I looked at him. That's not my problem. I know. She made her choice. I know, but she's not doing well. I leaned back. What do you want me to do? Nothing. Then why tell me? Because you deserve to know that she finally understands. Understanding doesn't change the past. No. What happened to Ryan? His business collapsed. I heard. He left. I sighed. And Claire? She barely recognizes herself anymore. I thought about the house I had left behind and the office I had rebuilt from nothing. Both taught me the lesson. Losing something did not mean losing myself. I had spent too long measuring my life by what Claire wanted. Now, each decision belonged to me. That freedom was, but stronger than anger. Noah stood. She said something yesterday. What? She said she lost the only person who ever loved her without asking what she could give back. I looked down. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. He walked toward the door. Then he stopped. For what it's worth, I was wrong about you. I smiled faintly. Thank you. After Noah left, I sat alone. I had measured my worth by Claire's happiness. If she smiled, I felt successful. If she was unhappy, I blamed myself. I had mistaken love for responsibility. Now I understood the difference. That evening, Claire came to my office. I almost asked security to stop her. Instead, I said, let her in. She entered quietly. You look happy. I am. I heard about your new house. It's mine. She smiled sadly. You always wanted a place like this. I did. I thought I was supposed to be there. I didn't answer. She looked around. You became everything I wanted you to become. I shook my head. No, I became everything I stopped being. She lowered her eyes. I was proud of you once. I remember. Then I forgot. I remember that too. She took a breath. Noah told me you know everything. I know enough. Do you hate me? No. Why? Because hatred still ties me to you. She looked at me. I wish I could go back. I can't. I know. We stood in silence. Then she asked the question I had secretly expected for months. If I had never left, would you still love me? I looked at her for a long time. The answer wasn't simple. I loved who you used to be. Her eyes filled with tears. And now I can't love the person you chose to become. She nodded slowly. I deserve that. I don't want you to suffer. Then what do you want? I want you to learn to live without needing someone else to complete you. She wiped her tears. Did you ever forgive me? Yes. Then why does this feel like goodbye? Because forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. She looked at the door. I really lost you. I answered quietly. You lost a version of me who would have stayed, no matter what. She closed her eyes. I miss him. So do I? She left. I watched the door close. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel powerful. I simply felt free. For months, I had believed revenge would heal me. It didn't. Building my own life did. Walking away did. Learning to love myself did. Claire's regret was no longer my reward. It was simply proof that some choices cannot be undone. I turned back to my desk and opened my next project. My future was waiting. This time, I was going to live it for me.